So this dude, Lamau, posted another video why Vivziepop's Zoophobia was abandoned. And as someone who is a massive fan of the Helluva and Hazbin Hotel franchises, not even for what they are, but for what they represent for the future of animation, I am so excited that dark humor like that has a place on the internet. I'm always incredibly curious as to everything in all the works of Vivziepop. So apparently there was this furry cartoon that she did at some point, and I'm more excited to learn about it, so I figured, hey, I'll learn about it with you guys, because why the hell not? Apparently it gets dark. That's the little deets that I heard on the DL. It gets dark.
If you're a fan of Vivziepop, or perhaps a casual viewer, you'll be aware of her two main projects, being Hazbin Hotel and Helluva. However, Vivziepop actually had a third universe where many of her ideas for the aforementioned shows came from, and it was also what she originally was best known for. This project was called Zoophobia, and it was an online webcomic which eventually received its own animated short on YouTube. Zoophobia.
Wait, Zoophobia only had one animated short? Zoophobia wasn't like a series that they've ever done? I know that my chat's all furries. I'm not, but I know my chat is, so.
It was a massive hit with a significant cult following. However, as of 2023, the project appears to be dead in the water, with radio silence from Vivziepop on the topic.
I guess people just like demon hentai more than furry hentai.
In this video, I'm going to answer why Vivziepop's Zoophobia was abandoned. Before we get into the project's abandonment, we need to go over its history to form a timeline of events. Before creating Zoophobia, Vivziepop created art and other projects under her DeviantArt account titled Viv's Mind. On her page, she created stories and art featuring a cast of characters.
Dude, it's crazy to see the very beginning. The evolution of a person who right now on the animation scene is one of the most impressive and respected individuals, and also hated apparently by a lot of people, but in my opinion that just makes her more credible, okay? That just adds to her credibility.
The main ones being centered around the main five, being Vanessa the cat,
oh my god, it's the furry Power Rangers!
Kayla the kangaroo, a chimera called
watching this purely for information purposes,
Alien, Jack the jackal, and Spam the fox. Two additional important characters were Damien the Prince of Hell and Addison the half-human, half-fennec fox. Many of these characters were created by Viv years prior while in high school. We can see these characters on Vivzi's original YouTube channel called Zoophobia X. This channel operated between 2008 and 2012 and has many random videos uploaded by Viv when she was younger. We can see some memes. People started to take notice of Viv's art because of the unique style and charm, with comparisons being made to Invader Zim. As a result, Vivzi expanded the cast and created the Zoophobia series. It was first—
Dude, speaking of Invader Zim, I got into a whole Helluva drama on Twitter. I don't know, I should just shut up. I mean on X.com. I should just shut up over there.
Published on July 3rd, 2012. Shortly after, in September, Vivzi made a new YouTube channel to help separate her past content from her new projects. The storyline of Zoophobia starts off by following a young woman named Cameron Walden, who was in need of a—
Okay, alright. A human, not a furry. This is a dub. This is huge. This is good shit. I'm just saying, not a furry.
job, prompting relocation, which took her to the strange and colourful world of Safe Haven. Safe Haven is inhabited by many creatures, ranging from animals and humans to mythical creatures and demons. The only problem is that Cameron has zoophobia, a crippling and petrifying fear of animals. The comic's main cast—
you see it? You heard of the Zoophobia? She said the thing.
Consists of a variety of characters, over 100, each with their own character arc and character development. Like I mentioned previously, as Vivzi expanded the world, Zoophobia started to gain a dedicated cult following. Things only escalated after the release of her Die Young music video. This animated video featured a variety of Zoophobia characters dancing to Kesha's hit song. The main protagonist of the video was JJ the Werewolf, a character that was slated to appear in Book 2 of Zoophobia. The Die Young video was a hit and introduced an entirely new audience to the series and Vivziepop as a whole. While on the topic of books, Zoophobia was originally designed in a book format. Roughly 10 books were planned, however Book 1 was the only one released, with it featuring 5 chapters. Book 1 was the introduction to the story and—
I truly respect the grind. She really made these whole stories completely as a passion project before ever seeing an ounce of revenue from this whole animation thing that she has going on. Honestly, I have so much respect for someone that creates this because they love it, not someone that just creates it because it's profitable and making them money on YouTube.
Was meant to get the audience connected with the main 5 characters. Book 2 was meant to have a shift to a musical film noir type of story. Cameron would be displaced as the protagonist in favour of the main 5, and this book was when JJ was scheduled to be introduced. We only know bits and pieces of what was supposed to appear in the rest of the books. but one focused on the sci-fi genre, one was darker, and one focused on mythology. The most interesting story was the Angels and Demons arc. This arc obviously focused on demons and angels, and hosted a lot of concepts that would end up being reused for Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. In March 2016, Vivzie announced the Zoophobia audio-visual adaptation by posting a teaser video. This adaptation was basically just a fancy version of what you'd call a comic dub today. However, it would feature advanced editing, audio, and sound effects, which would place it a tier above the previous fan-made dubs of the comic. This audio-visual adaptation was shelved, unfortunately, when Vivzie announced that Zoophobia was being rebooted on November 14th, 2016.
Reboots! Reboots! They were always here. They've always tortured us from the very beginning.
Vivziepop announced that the comic was on an indefinite hiatus until she could reboot it. According to Viv, she wanted to put the comic on hold because she lost her connection with the series. She affirmed that the project wasn't dead, but just on ice until she could revisit it. A year later, on April 27th, 2017, Vivzie discussed Zoophobia in a video titled Messy Zoophobia Ramble. In this 30-minute video, Viv addresses a lot of questions she's had and elaborates further on why the comic was put on hold. Viv said that the environment surrounding the comic stopped being fun, and since she was a novice storyteller at the time, there was a bunch of messy mistakes and holes which she couldn't overlook.
That's so sad. Oh man, it's always so hard to hear about a passion project that's just slowly dying. And obviously people were here for the art style, but also for the furry tits.
There wasn't a conventional structure or thought-out story. In order to fix the story, Viv said she wanted to give Zoophobia a rest, and then come back later to reimagine things when she has a better skill set. She mentioned that she has plenty of other fun projects to keep fans engaged in the meantime though. With the project stuck in limbo, things were pretty dire for the Zoophobia fandom. Throughout this period, Viv would be pestered regularly, with people saying she dropped Zoophobia in favour of Hazbin Hotel. Things changed in December 2019. Shortly before this, Vivzie...
All that for a drop of clout. I don't know. That's what it comes down to. At some point, reboots are just such a much safer way, I guess, to go than... Everyone's always scared, obviously, to keep pushing a story that they feel like is just dead and could be done better into the ground. I get reboots because I've wanted to redo past videos that I've made. I you know, want to change them up. I'd want to make them better and stuff like that. And I do get that, but gotta keep pushing forward also. There are people that have been with you until that way. In a way, it's almost discarding a fandom that exists for the sake of, you know, more exciting medium of storytelling that you could feel like reaches more people. I don't know. Obviously, I have nothing against people that want to reboot their stories. For me, it's always so sad.
Did release the pilots to both Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. On that date, however, Vivzie announced that she was working on a Zoophobia animated short. A couple months later, Vivzie announced that she was pitching Hazbin around different studios. At the same time, she was working on writing the story for an additional 6 Helluva Boss episodes. She mentioned that she was working on a number of other shorts, with one called Holidays, another one based on her Timber film, and the aforementioned Zoophobia short. On September 30th, 2020, the Bad Luck Jack Zoophobia short was released on Vivzie's YouTube channel. In this short, the story follows Jack, who is cursed with supernatural bad luck. Cameron, the main protagonist from the original webcomic, is not seen in this short. It also contained 3 songs, which is a format inherited from Viv's other projects like Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. After release, this short was quite popular, reaching 11 million views on YouTube. Fans were
huge. That's incredible.
We're obviously excited to see what's next in store for the Zoophobia universe. There was a mix of original fans who have been following Vivzie and Zoophobia for years, combined with the new viewers who just...
I do understand the concept of dropping something that either isn't performing as well as you wanted it to, or to follow greener pastures. Right now she's working on Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. How much time does she have to commit to another full-time project? She doesn't. In a way, it feels like she's betraying her audience, because I do see a lot of people hating on her for, oh my god, you just discarded Zoophobia because you got so popular with Helluva Boss and you don't actually love the stories you're making, you're just a grifter? And whenever I see the grifter argument that a lot of people like throwing at Vivziepop, it kind of makes me sad. She can do whatever the hell she wants here.
Tuned in after watching Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. This combined viewership meant that there was a sizable audience waiting. Since you've watched this far and obviously seen the title of the video, Zoophobia was more or less pushed aside. There was radio silence regarding the project up until a Helluva Boss livestream in March of 2023. In this livestream, Vivzie talked a little about the project and how she took concepts and characters from it to use in her other shows. From the way she spoke, it seems as if the project
Damn, that's a nice way to say it's dead.
Isn't completely dead, with Viv specifically making mention that Zoophobia as a comic is something that she wants to revisit in the future, but instead with a smaller cast and more of a focus on young adult comedy.
Also, you have to realize she's so much better. Every writer improves over time, and she's definitely improved over time. So I can understand why she doesn't want to just pick up where she left off. She wants to improve on the, you know, the formula and the structure that she had. So I respect that.
Other than the dark and gritty tones of her other projects. Following on from this livestream, there's been no other mention of Zoophobia from Vivzie or her team. So with the entire history of Zoophobia covered, it's time to get into the controversy surrounding the project.
Let's go, controversy! Woo!
If you're a subscriber of my channel or a longtime Vivzie fan, you'll know that it looms over her project like a shadow, and Zoophobia was no different. In the next section, I'll talk—
anything popular gets hate, and Vivzie is terrible at dealing with it because she responds to all of it. So obviously she's gonna keep getting them because they see they get a rise out of her.
talk about some of these controversies. So the first controversy relates to—
oh damn. Snake hentai.
a couple of characters from Zoophobia. One being Addison. Basically, Viv drew Addison naked in a bath of snakes. This entire situation is a bit of a mess, but basically the fan-run wiki had Addison's name listed as 17. However, once Vivzie confirmed he was 18, it was changed. The art itself is pretty bizarre, and Vivzie herself addressed—
so now it's okay that she's having sex with snakes. Good cover. Oh, it's a good thing she's an adult now that she's having sex with snakes. Woo! That's a load off.
this in an apology on Tumblr. She said she drew the cringy art in 2012 when she was 19 and regrets it. However, she affirms that it was legal—
why does she respond to this stuff? Just leave it. It'll just make people criticize you for other things now.
then and still is now. Following on from this, during chapter 6, Addison forms a relationship with a teacher's assistant called Gustav, who is 19. So basically, people were annoyed at Vivziepop for depicting a student-teacher romance. The next two characters that were in hot water—
between two adults. Dude, have you watched anime? Every anime has the weird student-teacher romance. Yes, is it weird? I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird. Is it something that you need to respond to? Is it something that you need to address? No, it's your story, you can do whatever you want. Yes, the people in your story are weirdos, fine. Solution. Problem solved. It's like when everyone was upset that freaking character in Helluva Boss is an asshole. Literally a character in hell. Okay? In her own story. She could make him as much of an asshole as she wants.
Kestrel is a 14-year-old student, while Mirage is a 27-year-old demon created from a soul of a 19th century serial killer. In one art piece, Mirage says "hey cutie" with her mouth watering. So basically, people said this was another example of an inappropriate relationship.
It's a reincarnated demon lady serial killer!
It's important to note that Mirage and Kestrel aren't dating, and Mirage is a villain in the story. The next character—
so the villain is a creep? What?
the most controversial was Sahara. Sahara is a teenage girl of African heritage. Her nickname is Sarah, and she appeared in the background in Bad Luck Jack, which was released back in 2020. So some people thought that her name and design was insensitive. The next controversy is the doll creep situation. I've discussed this one to death, but basically Vivzie purchased JJ the werewolf off a friend called Doll Creep. After Vivzie's
Why is that weird?
young music video, Doll Creep started a dispute with her because they wanted more credit, despite the fact that they were credited in the video itself with special thanks.
Yeah, that's always so ugly.
The two had a heated argument on Tumblr, with Vivzie doing a
An argument on Tumblr? Oh god, I cannot see this going well at all.
out thread on Doll Creep. The next drama was the Zootopia situation.
Maybe I'm just too weathered. I'm just way too weathered on the internet. It's a different word. Yeah, obviously there's similarities, but it's a completely different word. Zoophobia is a real word. It's a fear of it. And what, the setting? The fact that there's a society of talking animals? Is that really such an original premise that's worth, like... I mean, I get being upset because it's just incredibly similar stylistically, but that's rough, buddy. This happens to everyone, I feel like. I feel like every single person goes through this at some point.
When Zootopia was announced, Vivziepop expressed her disdain for it on social media. In Viv's eyes, the similar name hurt the branding for Zoophobia. Rumours started to get spread that Vivzie was going to sue Disney, but Viv—
what? Sue Disney for a name that's different, just kind of similar?
said these were false during her Tumblr apology. Eventually, Zootopia came out, and Vivzie saw it and actually enjoyed the movie, drawing some fan art as a result. And lastly, we have Vivzie's Patreon. Basically, as I've discussed, Vivzie's main project was Zoophobia. However, she eventually pivoted towards other projects like Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. Some longtime patrons have expressed their distaste towards Vivzie's Patreon. They paid money to support Zoophobia, however, it was put into an indefinite hiatus.
Well, also they could kind of patron, like, I don't know. I feel like that's appropriate. They don't have to remain a patron of hers, right?
While Viv focuses on other projects, these people don't really care.
It's not. She was pretty transparent about it. She said that, listen, guys, we're working on greener pastures. It looks like this is going on hiatus for now. At that point, if anyone's there just to support that, they can be like, well, in that case, toodles. Nothing but respect for everything that you do as a human and as a person. But I'm here for the furry stuff. I don't care about demon butt.
For Viv's other projects, so to them, it feels like the Zoophobia fandom was abandoned. So, with the entire history of Zoophobia discussed, it's time to get into why the project was.
That said, I do understand their pain. It's like, can you imagine being like a One Piece fan, okay? You're watching One Piece, everything's going great, we're in the final arc, and it turns out Oda decided, you know what? I want to do a new story. A story about skydivers. We're going to be putting One Piece on hiatus for now. I mean, obviously that would be hell on earth. But, but like, I can understand where the fan base is coming from, but at that point, there's no reason to hate on Oda for that. It's ultimately his choice. We should be grateful what we've gotten.
Abandoned. Although Vivzie hasn't officially said that the project is cancelled, we know from the 2023 livestream that the project is on hold while she works on other projects. Vivzie doesn't talk about Zoophobia anymore on sites like Twitter, and this livestream was the last time she discussed it. From this stream and her previous statements, we can piece together what happened. Basically, Vivzie created Zoophobia when she was young. It had some great characters and concepts. However, due to her inexperience, there was some flaws with it. As a result, Vivzie got heavy criticism, especially from web forums and Tumblr blogs. Some of these blogs or forums were dedicated to criticizing Zoophobia. Eventually, Vivzie realized that she couldn't look at Zoophobia the same way because of its issues, and as a result put it on hold so that she could reboot it in the future. Fast forward to 2020 and we get the animated short featuring the characters. This was amazing, however, there was radio silence from Viv on Zoophobia after the release of that short. The last time she mentioned
I'm not a furry, but she is bad. She got that Espeon vibe, and I don't know, man. It's something about the Eevees every time. The whole Eevee line. God damn it. God damn it. Listen, I promise I'm not a furry, but if I was a furry, I would be salivating right now.
Zoophobia was during that 2023 livestream. In that stream, Viv mentioned how Zoophobia was where a lot of her concepts originated from. She took characters and stories from that show, such as the Hazbin Hotel cast, and turned them into their own individual projects. This was great because it reduced the amount of content in Zoophobia, which already had over 100 characters and was too ambitious.
Oh my god! This thing had a whole freaking cinematic universe.
However, this created the issue where large parts of the lore are now missing. Vivzie has been too busy with her other projects, and as a result, Zoophobia has been sidelined in favour of Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. Unlike Viv's past projects like Allison or Classic, which were cancelled, Zoophobia is in sort of a limbo. We could see more Zoophobia shorts or comics in the future. However,
I feel like at some point we'll definitely get back to that. There's just so much good merch to be sold. I feel like there's no way she's just gonna completely ignore its existence.
That'll most likely be a while into the future when Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss are further in development. Myself and many fans are holding out hope for the series. However, only time will tell if Zoophobia will get the spotlight it deserves. So yeah, that was the history of Zoophobia.
Okay, but here's the thing. What would you prefer, Zoophobia fans? What's better for you? Her not being able to give it the respect it deserves, so therefore putting it on hiatus until maybe she has time one day? Or just completely selling out and outsourcing it to some other studio to freaking make it all by themselves and do their thing? And what the frick is going on with this thigh situation? I don't understand it at all. Is that the butt? Is that the front? Like, then how is... I don't understand, and I'm not... Listen, I'm not looking at furry crotches because I like them. I'm just because they're there. I am a philosopher. I look at everything that is to be seen.
Phobia. I was requested to do this video a lot, so it was nice to finally get around to making a dedicated video on the series. I do hope we get some news regarding it in the future, but at least we have Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss to keep the fans engaged. The last thing we want is for Viv or her team to get overworked. If you have any thoughts...
Well, that's not the last thing we want, but it would be pretty bad. Oh god, I'm so bad.
On the video or in Zoophobia as a whole, I'd love for you to leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Alamau. Thanks for making this video. This was good and insightful and stuff, and I learned a lot about furry hentai and the people that enjoy it. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.